We're live. So, I'll say, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again on another conscious evolution. For me to ask you, are you having fun? I can see that there is not a single person in this stream with me right now, but I'm asking you anyway. Almost like I'm asking myself. Are you, me, having fun? I'd like to say yes. In fact, I think I ought to say yes. I am. I am having fun. Hey, that looks like Jovan to me. That looks like Jovan. Must be. Love is true. Love is true. It's nice having you here. I was thinking about you literally as I was starting the stream up. Thinking about all of the fun that we'll have. There she is. So much fun to be had in the future. I basically showed up for today's yoga class with this intent. It's a freaking wind messing with my hair. It's fluffy. Whatever's going on here, I don't know what to do about that. It'll be fine. Stop. I don't have fun when I think about my hair. No, sir. It's one of those things that definitely does zap some of my enjoyment of being a person. There are a bunch of things that are fun about being a person. As I was settling in for my stream, thinking to myself that, can you really have fun? Like, is fun something you can have? Or is fun something that you do? And then because you do, you get all of the emotions associated with. I don't know if you have them any more or any less. But I was curious about why it is we speak like that. You know? Having fun. Alongside that whole little fractal, in asking myself whether or not I am having fun, I was thinking to myself what that looks like depending on where you are in the world, one, but also in the financial sense. You know? That if I was a multi-billionaire right now, would I be having any more fun than I'm having right now? Could it be argued that I might, in fact, be having more fun as a pauper comparatively to the billionaire? And of course, there's a part of me, the egoic part of me, wants to believe that people that have less are having more fun. But I don't know if that's true experientially. I would like to believe it is, right? Specifically, the whole hedonic treadmill, hedonic curve, right? Like if you are in the world of opulence, right? Suddenly, something opulent is not out of the norm, right? It's like, ah, yes, opulence must opulence. And then I believe, and this has been relatively well studied, people end up having less fun, right? I read two poems today about how you are living someone else's dream life right now, right? That you might be fantasizing in your mind about this dream life out there somewhere and all of these things. And there is someone in the world that's living verbatim that dream life that you envision for yourself. And they don't find it extraordinary or even special. They find it as ordinary as drinking a glass of water. Right? And then it brings to my mind, again, this topic of fun. There's so many different ways to have fun. Hey, Sandra. And I don't know if all of them are good. You know? We human beings have fun in the hunting of other entities as well, right? Other life forms. There's a certain fun. Maybe Maybe this is not a good thing to say, right, from my own perspective. But when I was a 9-year-old, I haven't again since, but when I was a 9-year-old, my dad took me to go and kill my first deer with a gun, a fire rifle, technically, right? And looking back, there was fun to be had, right? But I'm trying to determine whether or not the fun is the actual act or if the fun is all of the doing that goes alongside it, right? I had to go and practice first. I had to do a bunch of test shots, see if I can actually hit a target. There was a bunch of transportation, moving ourselves around on this piece of property to try and find the things that we're looking for. There was fires, and there was food, and there was sitting around the fires and talking to our family. I remember my cousin Billy was there with me. And I mean, we were both, I was 9, he was 8 years old, right? But I remember talking to him. I can't remember what we said, but I remember talking to him and I remember it being fun. However, at this point in my life, I don't seek out those kinds of experiences. And I want to preface that with the fact that I don't think I've been having any less fun living my life since, right? The way that I have fun these days is very much attached to a couple of metrics, right? One of them is movement. I enjoy moving, right? So music has that element to it. New environments, so I want to move and see what there is, has that element to it. Even information exchange, right? Like I'm always in a state of wanting my thoughts to continue moving, right? Continue churning, continue finding the next thing to latch onto. I find fun in that movement. I also find fun in peace at the same time as well, right? A certain calm, a certain, I want to use the word nonchalant attachment to reality, right? Where I don't have to take things so seriously. Name a city for an edit. Shanghai, Johannesburg, Cape Town. Thank you, Remix. It's interesting that there are people on YouTube that do that. Are you screen recording me right now? How does that work? I haven't seen one of these edits. I've been asked many times, say something. Shout out this person, I'm gonna make an edit. This person wants to name cities, have strangers on the internet say city names. You actually upload stuff? Yes, I am. Nice. Nice. Doubly getting recorded those. Bless you, friend. I hope that they do well. It's going on YouTube. Cool. I'm already on YouTube. Feel free to use me saying city names. Do you do that for a bunch of people? Like, is that the strategy, Mimics? Are you like going down all of the different live streams and then you're asking people to say city names for an edit? And then you cut all of those together? I'm trying to imagine if there's more to it. A nonchalant approach to reality. I like that. Yep, cool. A nonchalant approach to reality, indeed. Part of me wants to almost like clarify in my own mind as well so we can build on that. Can you define for us what nonchalant means? We're having this conversation about what's fun, and I'm communicating some of the things that I find fun to me. I do believe that there are types of fun to be had that are not necessarily good for the individual, right? For instance, some people have fun drinking. I find that deplorable. I don't drink myself, but I get that some people have fun in doing that. So it's curious to me that we have fun in different ways, and that fun is something good to have, but it's not always good to have certain types of fun. I also want to almost like touch a little bit on the whole fractal of having fun, the terminology, literally. Because fun is not really something you have, fun is something you go and do, right? You already have all of the emotions that fun will induce. It's so windy. So windy today. It's very windy. Just making sure that I do have my windshield. Let's unpack this in a few layers because you're circling around something quite deep. Yes, always me and my depth. Nonchalant means being casually calm, relaxed, or unconcerned, especially in situations where others might expect more emotion, stress, or enthusiasm. Yeah, right. I do find myself enthusiastic, but when things are chaotic, when things are, I really have fun in being that person that's like relaxed and calm, unconcerned. And like, yeah, the world's falling apart or whatever. Look like I'm worried. Do I look worried to you? You shouldn't be worried. Or someone nonchalant gives off the impression that things don't trouble them. Yeah, I don't have fun when I'm troubled. Boom. Even if inside they might feel differently. It's a kind of easygoing detachment, neither overexcited nor overly invested. Now, tying this back to your reflection on fun. You've noticed that fun isn't always wholesome. Some fun, like drinking, for you at least, feels more like self harm. Yes, disguised as enjoyment. That's exactly right. Because again, it stimulates the feelings of fun. It gives you the people, it gives you the environment, it gives you the thing you drink that poisons your brain and causes it to release GABA, right, as a defense mechanism. And then you're like, I'm having fun now. Oh, this is fun. Self harm. Self harm disguises enjoyment. That's an important insight because fun isn't inherently good. Is it not? Maybe not. Name a city for an edit again. I couldn't capture the clip. Johannesburg. Maybe Cape Town. There's a Shanghai out there somewhere, Pretoria, Nelspruit. This is awkward to me mix. I don't really take instruction well, at all, technically. I have something called oppositional defiance, which usually, if somebody gives me instructions, I have this thing in me that makes me want to not do it, makes me want to do the opposite. But there, I gave you city name. I'm gonna stop awkwarding. That's important insight because fun isn't inherently good. It's more like a raw energy. What people do with it can nourish them or deplete them. Me mix, the whole video will be uploaded after the live is done. No need to worry, this is true. I think this person is probably trying to like actually screen record the little bitty bitties because that is going to, knowing editing, knowing the process of downloading a YouTube video, it's going to be the easier thing to do. I appreciate you, Sam. Nice having you here too. Sending you blessings, no problem. Love is true. Okay, then there's more. I am Ray. Really? Did I am Ray? I am Ray did a really good video on addiction, the way we distract ourselves and how it can be self-destructive in unawareness. I'm not immediately seeing the face when I'm hearing I am Ray. I might already know them. I wouldn't be surprised. But it's true. Self-destructive if in unawareness. Especially since we live in a world where, right, having fun and hurting yourself can be synonymous. It's like those two things are intertwined. There's a doggo here. You can see him. You're looking at camera. I gotta have constant awareness of myself now. I can't just put that shit down for a second. I think it's more a matter of like, it's important to be aware, right? Like you can put it down for a second, but when it's important for you to hold it, then you should, right? For instance, me and Joe are both people that enjoy Mary Jane's company, right? And even though that remains true, and both of us still enjoy her company, there is a willingness and awareness to bring into our minds an understanding that there's also clarity to be had in abstaining from her company for a while, right? So, technically, in that way, Sam, my awareness right now is even more constant, right? But because of my awareness, to kind of riff on what Joe said about the whole self destructive in unawareness, I don't think I was self destructing in my unawareness with Mary Jane, but I have seen people that do, right? People that use Mary as a means to soothe themselves, even when self soothing is not what they need, right? Sex, sad sex. This guy, me. How are you today, Meltmore? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling so good. I'm on day 2 of my fast. I am on day 2 of abstaining from Mary Jane as well. I've been taking multivitamins that have been making me feel more baseline level. I've been supplementing creatine that has definitely helped my cognition. You know that brain fogginess where you're like, a lot less of that, which I'm super stoked about. And today we're having a conversation about fun. And I'm having this conversation specifically about how it relates to economic mobility, right? Because again, some of us might convince ourselves that it's fun to travel. It's fun to go out to a new restaurant every night to eat something. It's fun to have a yacht. I don't know. I'm riffing here, right? However, I don't think it is. This is my own bias, of course. I think the more stuff you have, especially in that way, the more you kind of like have to worry about. And I personally don't like worrying about things. My fun to not fun ratio is correlative with my worry to not worry ratio. Hey, the comments are coming in. It's so nice seeing you friends engaging. I am Ray. I am Ray. He's like you, sort of hippie in front of a whiteboard. Okay, I do know who you're talking about. Being silly and philosophical. I gotta have constant awareness. Yeah, this guy. I can't go 12 hours without food. I'm like a line. I'm at 36 hours. It's true right now, and it's not fun. I'm sorry, Joe. Yeah, Joe is not overweight. That's almost what I want to say. I don't know if that's a weird thing to say or something that might be awkward, but because I have a little bit of extra fatties, right? Just a little bit extra. I actually enjoy. I have fun when I get into this fasted state. Yesterday, I wasn't enjoying it, but today I can feel all of my processes switching on. I can feel the brain-derived neurotropic factor boosting. I can feel the growth hormone coursing through my blood. Really? You can feel that? No. Not not directly, but experientially, I think so. There is another fractal to awareness / unawareness. That whole, you can only know where you're going or how fast you're going. Not both seems relevant here. Grab your crayon and connect the dots. Where you're going or how fast you're going. The first thing that my mind does, dear Sam, is like, no, I can know that I'm going to Pretoria and I can look down and see that I'm driving 120 kilometers an hour, right? So now I know how fast I'm going and where it is I'm going simultaneously. But I think I'm trying to connect the dots as it relates to like life, like having fun. I have fun in making art. That's another thing. I really have fun when I make something beautiful. And then I have even more fun when someone else uses their eyes to look at the beautiful thing I made and then confirm, yes, that is beautiful. I'm like, wow, you can see that too? I have big fun in those moments. Fast and where? Do I know with any degree of confidence where it is I'm going on a life path level? I know I'm going to America soon, but that's not a where in the way that we're talking right now, is it? I know how fast I'm going to go there, timeline wise. Maybe. Most fun things to us are on the negative spectrum, albeit I might correspond fun with happiness and thus pleasure. I don't think it's wrong to make those connections, but, sad sacks, I feel like there are things that our soul has fun doing, but it might not be as you said, pleasurable, right? I find I find fun, I have fun in the making of my art. And it brings me some level of pleasure to make those things. It's true. But if I have to compare it, right, to some of the other fun experiences I've had, maybe it's not as fun, relatively speaking. Right? And I feel like that's kind of where we should make ourselves aware, is that we should allow ourselves to have fun. That's the crux of today's stream topic. We should allow ourselves to have fun everywhere. Realizing that you can have fun in something as simple as practicing yoga, right? You can have fun taking a big breath of air, staring out on the horizon, right? Like there's so many ways to have fun. And it's again, because of the access we have to extreme fun and potentially, as you said, negative things, we compare it. Joe is not overweight. You may be aimed for Joe burns clean or possibly Joe is pocket sized. I was thinking that too, Sam. I was like, how am I going to say this without making it weird, right? But I was trying to say that if you're fasting, if you have extra fat, it's more fun. If you have little fat, it's less fun because then your body is like, what are you doing? What are you doing, huh? Why are you doing that? Stop it, please. Maybe along the lines of you can't efficiently think about a thing and feel it at the same time. Maybe if you start thinking about a thing, the things you feel are not what's supposed to be felt even. That's what I'm thinking. Sometimes I think things and feel things based on the things I'm thinking. And then I find that I was almost like, I don't know if manipulating myself is the right word, but I was steering the conversation down a path. I'm so thin that I'm almost sharp. Yeah. Oh, that's what you meant when you said a line. You're like a line. I get it now, sad sex. Yeah. I am like, I don't know how, I'm trying to like riff with you. If you're a line, I am a circle. I mean a circle, a cube. Yes, square. A square. I feel like it's something like you can plot the course of your life and follow it, or you can fly the seat of your pants and decide how fast you want to go. If you have extra fat, it's more fun. Have extra fat. When do I start feeling the fun? When you stop eating, Sam. And I know that might be very counterintuitive because eating is fun, right? Eating is so much fun. I love eating. It's great fun to me. However, I have done probably close to 6 months, I would say, of like fasted time in my life. I wouldn't be surprised if it's around that number. I'm doing every Monday for the last like 5 months almost or something. Right? So I'm getting four days a month for the last 5 months. I might be overshooting with the 6 months total time. Maybe a little bit. Let's say 3 months, total time that I've spent fasted, right? And again, you don't do it indefinitely. And there is a certain level of awareness. Again, we talked about that a little bit earlier, that you have to practice inside yourself to know when your body is actually telling you that this is now okay, like you've done enough, it's time for us to consume calories again. And when your body literally rewards you for not consuming calories. Right? And because I've had such a breadth of experience, right, going from being 222 pounds as a 16-year-old to being 147, I think that was the lightest, as a 20-year-old, to now being around 170s. Am I 170s? Freaking pounds is not intuitive always to transfer mass. There we go. Mm-hmm. I weigh 180 pounds right now. And the lightest I've ever seen myself since I became an adult body was 158, not 147. But yeah, right? And like I got to that weight fasting, essentially. And I had more fun during that time of my life. Like a bunch of other things were also happening at the same time. But I had more fun during that time of my life than I had eating a lot, right? It's like, in fact, I was just getting more and more depressed. And then in my depression, to not think about it, I would eat. And then I would get more fat. And then I would hate myself. And then I would not want to think about it. And then I would eat more. Right? That was not a fun cycle at all for me. And then suddenly discovering that I can just not eat things. That you can, in fact, go weeks. Longest I've gone is 2 weeks. You can go 2 weeks. Showed myself experientially. I can go 2 weeks without eating food. Just drink water. And it's fun. It's fun to show yourself how powerful you are like that. But it takes time, Sam. Starting with like 1 day, and then 2 days, and 3 days. Pushing yourself a little by little. I can't fast since my body probably doesn't have that much fat or whatever, I don't know. But to be honest, I eat like 5,000 calories a day and I still don't even get a bit big. They say it's due to my fast metabolism. If you're actually eating 5,000 calories a day, you're not gaining weight. I'm happy that I'm not the one feeding you. Sad. Yeah, I eat like at 2,000 or sometimes even less than 2,000 calories a day. I'm intermittent fasting at the moment. And I did experience that empty gut clarity you were talking about. I was like, fuck, I'm never gonna hear the end of this. Yeah, I like how Sam keeps reluctantly believing me. Right? It's like, okay, fine, I'll try this thing Melt keeps hyping about. And then you do after like the reluctance kind of breaks. And then you realize that I wasn't capping. I was actually telling the truth. And then you're like, oh, I don't want to tell him he was right. He already has too much ego. I should never let him know that he's right, ever. Bless you, Sam. I'm happy that you get these. Like, again, that's the thing for me. I have fun in knowing that you are getting those good experiences, that you're getting that gut clarity, right? Of like, oh, this feels better. Something feels better here. You know, I'm not like that Laden, like constantly just like a wood chipper feeding yourself logs, log after log. All right, letting the wood chipper just run, wee, clean. Suddenly it's like, oh, that sounds nice, you know, experientially. If you're very sensitive to sounds, the sound of the log chipper chipping logs is very loud and potentially a little bit perturbs him. Where if it just runs empty, still loud a little bit maybe, but now there's no more happening, and you can kind of like find some more peace. Is this translating? I hope so. I have a friend like that, Sax. It actually makes her exhausted. Poor thing. I wonder what's going on there. Hi, how are you? I am Staga. watching from Malawi. Welcome. Welcome to this space. I'm in South Africa, Staga. It's nice having you. My name is MeltMore. Sam, I'm glad it gave you the good. Love is true. My husband is like that, Sadex. He had an undiagnosed anxiety driving up his metabolism and absolutely nuking his appetite. After getting on meds, finally, he's gaining weight and building muscle. Nice. Should I take medication for something that might be natural? I am kind of against taking medication right off the bat. I don't know your situation, Satsax. How old are you? That's a good place to start. If you're 18, 19, 20, or like 16, 17, 18 right now, that's kind of part of the course. I used to eat absurd amounts of calories during that time of my life as well. Like I was also pushing not exactly 5,000, but close to 4,000 calories a day. I would like eat all of my meals and then I would crack 6 eggs. 6 eggs, 2 protein scoops, and like 100, I think it was 100 mils of like thick cream, full fat cream. I was doing keto at that point as well. And I didn't get fat. I just got jacked. Got so jacked. So exercise, Satsax, that's something that I'll say reluctantly believing, more like forcibly accepting. Yes. Sometimes one must be forced to accept the truth. It's like, yes, Melt knows what he's talking about, just a little bit. Experientially, of course. Having experienced this human thing that I am. And I do, and I've said that, Sam, many a times. I see this thing as like a laboratory. This thing is just laboratory for the scientist that is my brain, right? And then my brain is but lab. No. More like my brain is like the scientist inside the lab, right? And then there is the consciousness that is observing of all of these fractals as they are unfolding. And then as I observe and I let my brain try its crackpot ideas and apply the information that it extracted from the universe, and then my laboratory tells me, it gives me chemicals back into my brains, and my brain's like, this is fun. This is fun. I like. This is good. I need to tell people about this, and I do have that problem, Sam. So as soon as I find something in the universe that's valuable, I cannot help myself. I have to go and tell people about it. It's like, no. In fact, if you don't know about this, you're gonna... I think I've been unintentionally intermittent fasting. Well, for what it's worth, Nancy, you have been unintentionally benefiting your well-being. I hope that it's not like an unintentional where you're forgetting to eat and then maybe you're like eating an apple and then you're forgetting to eat again for hours and then maybe you're eating like a piece of candy and then you're forgetting to eat. That isn't exactly good for you. However, having like a defined window in which you're eating your calories, one, this is what I find in my experience, allows you to eat bigger meals proportional to what you're used to, right? So if you go from a way of being that's like I'm eating every day, all day, right? Then it's like you wake up in the morning and you snack on something. You go and get yourself something a little bit more substantial a bit later. Maybe you're taking a snack midway through. Lunch comes, you eat something again. Maybe there's a snack or a coffee in the meanwhile. And then again, dinner, right? So you have like this whole window. And maybe, to me at least, every time I eat something, I eat my snack and I eat my another snack, I always have this sense of like, but how about more snack, right? How about snack again? That previous snack was so fun, I want to have fun one more time. Where if I do intermittent fasting, you basically bring all of that food and you push it in this small little ball, right? My favorite is the 4-hour window. It's like, I think it's the Warrior, 420, right? Where 4 hours eating, 20 hours not eating. Then in those 4 hours, you get to eat so much, relatively, right? That you actually feel satiated. That you don't have that sense of like, oh, now I want to eat again, eat even more again, right? Because you get to eat all of your calories in a smaller time frame. And then I can hear something like, "Oh, isn't some of your calories not going to be absorbed?" No, that's not how it works. Yes, that's medicine. The practice is 6,000 years old. We've been practicing medicine for longer than we have had the human form. If you can produce your own hormones, store-bought is fine. If you can't, it's true. 17.4 years, you see. Yeah, that checks out, sad sacks. That's going to be a part of it, bro. You're in that time of your life where you're growing. I would highly recommend you exercise a lot. Like like literally, and you're like, "Oh, Melt, can't afford gym." Start doing push-ups, sad sacks, aggressively, right? Literally try and do as many push-ups every day as you can. Your arms should feel like they're gonna fall off of your body over and over again, right? Especially at like 17. If I could, and I did start exercising when I was like around 17, 18, but if I could impress on myself just how important it is that I did, I would have exercised even more, right? Like this form that I have, I basically built at your age, right? It's like I haven't changed that much, relatively speaking. Most of the work that I've done, I did at that time. 5,000 is just a bit much for me too. I eat like 2,500 to 4,000 a day. I don't measure it. That could also help. Are you also working out? Sad sacks, giving your body a place to put all of the calories and protein you're eating. Very good advice, especially so. No, but I walk for an hour and I cycle for about 45 minutes a day. It's like my transportation. Okay, that's good. Do push-ups aggressively. Fuck, push-ups over and over again. Push-ups is some of the best stuff that you can do for yourself because it's core building as well. So you'll get a six-pack while you get more defined chest, while you get more defined triceps. It's just like all good. Oh, do plenty of cardio. Try adding 20 to 30 minutes of yoga. I'm a yoga teacher as well, so there is a class if you want to join it to tone your muscle groups. I like to wake up in the morning. As opposed to waking up in the evening, or as opposed to not waking up at all. Mel, I find that lately my eating window is between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. That's perfect. That's perfect, Nancy. This is again the part of me that wants to be ultra scientist, right? Like, oh yes, the science says if you're going to be doing it that way, Nancy, only eating from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., this is again, don't listen to me from I'm telling you you've been doing it wrong, but listen to me as this is the way to do it right. you know? You know? Totally not, what's the word? Contradicting myself here. But if you're going to be only starting to consume calories at 2 p.m., you should make sure you're not consuming any calories. And that includes the milk they put in your coffee, the single sugar you put in your black coffee, the, like piece of candy someone gives you. None of that stuff, right? Like the point of intermittent fasting is to basically put your body in a low insulin state. When your body releases insulin, it tells your cells, especially the ones that can absorb energy, to open up, right? Literally, like giving them, like, say, here comes the choo-choo train. That's what insulin does to your cells. And then your cells go, and then all of the sugars or calories you've eaten basically get mashed into those open holes. I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit visceral. But what happens if you're continually consuming calories, and especially if you're consuming high carb calories, the amount of insulin that your body releases is disproportionate to the amount of calories there are to stuff in the open mouths of the cells, right? So by the time all of the calories have been stuffed, those mouths are still open, waiting for more food. And if they're not getting more food, they start screaming in something called ghrelin. Ghrelin is another hormone that your body releases to tell you, oh, wait, your cells are telling me that they're hungry, so eat something. And then you go and eat something again, and if again it is high carb, then more insulin, more cells being open, and then the cycle repeats. And when you're in that high insulin state, right, with your cells always open, receiving energy, they are unable, literally, on a physiological level, they're unable to release energy, right? So when you're in a high incidence state, always, it's impossible for you to lose weight because your cells are literally being signaled by your own actions that you're now absorbing energy. You're supposed to absorb energy, you say to your body. And why would it lose weight if you're screaming that to it? So I'm not trying to call you out, Nancy. I'm just kind of like making this point really clear. No calories at all up until that moment, and then in that window from, let's say 9 p.m. to all the way to 2 p.m., your body is going to be in that fat burning state, right? You'll still be utilizing the calories that you've consumed, but they'll basically be absorbed by the time you wake up the next morning. And then your body will switch over to kind of like utilizing your own body's energy system. And I find in my personal experience, it's more fun. It's more fun when your body is utilizing itself as its energy source, as opposed to wanting to eat something, right? Like, oh, my blood sugar is low. Let me eat something again so I can just feel a little bit more uppity again, right? That energy state is not, for me personally, enjoyable as compared to the calmness and the stability you find in yourself. That's great, Satsak. Do you have anything to measure your health metrics with? Like a Whoop band or a Fitbit? Those numbers do great things for bodily awareness. They can. I don't believe in those. Believe. Believe is a strong word. Okay, this is Melt. This is Melt Sounds today. Yes, I am making Melt Sounds. Bet you didn't expect those sounds, hoopy hoops. Bet you didn't. Hi, Drea. Oops. Hi, Dream Tooth. Bless. Hi, man. Supplementing with sound. It's a beautiful morning. I'm going to see you tomorrow, Melt. Bless ya. Sat sacks. Do push-ups. A lot. Aggressive amounts of push-ups. Do so many push-ups that your body starts begging you to stop. Melts. Gestations. Look the wildest yet. Just gesticulations. Is that my hair? Gesticulations. What is that? Oh, words I don't know. Somebody help me. Reality is too heavy, so they rent illusion, call it happiness. People don't want truth, they want comfort dressed as truth. Old Kafka. They want comfort dressed as truth. I find a certain level of comfort in believing love is true, Moon Knight. And it's, again, one of those things where I can't really be convinced otherwise. You can't convince me love isn't true. Right? I am unconvincible of anything other. But, at the same time, I don't necessarily think it is something that I believe purely because it brings me comfort. I think I might be capping. I think I do believe it because it brings me comfort. Because I use it almost like a comforting tool as well, like a reminder. When I'm in a state of high stress, I say love is true. And it brings me comfort to do so. Reality is too heavy, so they rent illusion and call it happiness. It's usually when reality is heavy that I remind myself of the truth of love anyway, right? Like, it doesn't take away the reality of the situation. It just gives me something to anchor my mind to, right? And usually when I'm in those states, I'm not very happy at the same time as well, but I am content in where I am, right? I find myself aware of my own power over my experience. What if our individual perception is our individual reality, and that makes it an illusion? Might as well try to be happy and truthful. Yeah. Sharing this reality. Huh? How wild is that? Can we just take a moment to acknowledge the fact that we share reality? That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. Come on. Can we just really, really consider how wild it is? That reality is something we share. That this air that I'm breathing is attached to the air that you're breathing. Maybe attached is the wrong word. This is a part of the same system, right? This gravity that I'm feeling is the same gravity that you're feeling. The sunlight that's illuminating my face right now is the same sunlight illuminating yours. This hand reaches into the same reality that you're a part of. Did we come and be real because it's fun? I'd like to believe so. I think the things we are underlying, right? You can call us spirit, you can call us soul. Consciousness is another one as well that I like to use. That thing has fun being a human being. Even has fun in the bad parts, I believe. Pain, suffering, anger, disappointment, dismay. I believe consciousness finds fun in these things too. Because it's experience, it's depth, it's fullness, it's stuff. Alright? It's the stuffy stuffs. That kind of smelly smell. It's not smelly. The lack of ability to perceive it as a whole, that we were so distort, the limited reality we can experience, that we should call it a lie. I don't understand. I'll read again. The lack of ability to perceive it as the whole, that we were so distorted, the limited reality we can experience, that we should call it a lie. I still don't understand. The lie is separation. Yes. Yes, it is. Being convinced suddenly that, oh, I am separate. Oh, everybody else out there is having fun, but me out here by my lonesome, not having fun. I'm so sad. Lies. It's not lies. Lie. The lie is separation. Because we can experience the exact same thing and have an absolutely different experience, yet both experiences are true. And experience holds the infinite. I'm thinking about that line, picture is worth 1,000 words kind of thing as well, Joe. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, how much words is an experience, right? An instance of reality. Because again, you experientially can have your instance of reality, but that instance of reality is echoing 8 billion times across the earth simultaneously. Right? That's a lot of perspective. That's a lot of us to lie. Lie to ourselves, lie to each other. I still don't understand. We individuals used to be a we, a whole, and that perception was different than the one we have now. But is it so different that we should call one a lie? Okay, now I'm with you, Sam. I don't think it's a matter of a lie, right? Joe did say it like that as well, if the whole separation is the lie. So the lie isn't necessarily that we are a one, like I am me, myself, and I, right? I being singular. But at the same time, I believe that that me and I that I am, you are as well. When you look down at your hands, you see hands. You don't see my hands, but you see hands, right? And experientially, it's my hands from your perspective. These are just my hands because they're in my perspective, right? So that kind of like being our baseline, Sam, that being taken as the truth. When we convince ourselves as collective societies that someone else is suffering is okay, right? And when we see the person homeless, like sleeping on the bench, and there's nothing in us that feels anything for that. There's nothing in us that would like to see that person find a home. From that perspective of realizing it is the same I that is now sleeping on that bench, right? Is that I having fun sleeping on bench? I don't know, right? That's my own bias. And again, that's where the separation kind of arises as well. Some people that are sleeping on benches want to. They're choosing to, right? They escape the kind of life that they used to live and they find more fun in not living that life anymore, right? And I feel like that's kind of where the lie comes in. Again, Sam, it's like the actual conviction in separation is the lie. Not the fact that we can feel separation, and also not the fact that we are all. Relax. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's mom and sister. Freaking creature. So, preface one more time. The lie isn't that we are all one, and the lie isn't that we are all separate. The lie is separation, right? Because again, I am separate in a way where if I reach out, I could touch your face. And then if I contract away, I'm no longer touching your face, right? We're separated and then we're touching again. That's not a lie, relatively speaking. What is a lie, again, is believing that you are separated in the first place. From a cosmic perspective, it's like a true acknowledgement of unity, realizing that this universe is interconnected, right? That there is no thing outside of the everything, that everything is everything, and you are a part of it. Cannot separate yourself from it. Kurosawa made a movie about that, Joe. Rashomon, that's pretty cool. How about that? Interesting. I'm just riffing. I have to give it a look, Nancy. Is it good? I wonder. I would like to watch it with you. What we call God may one day be remembered only as a myth, an idea created to comfort us when we had no answers. That's what I believe about God as well, Moon Knight. This concept of God, this religions built around this concept of God. Right? I don't particularly believe in that. However, the experience of God is still a real one, Moon. Right? When you have that experiential, almost like confronting with that godlike energy, right? And again, it's in you. That's the other part of it. It's literally in you. You cannot separate yourself from that either. But when you have that experiential moment of connecting with that truth, that inner self, that ultimate self, you understand why people keep trying to give words to that, right? Write it down, communicate that information. There's a lot of wisdom in that remembrance. But again, the people that are the wisest are also have the most leverage in a society that has finite resources, right? Me being wise means that I could convince you to give me some of your food in exchange for some of my wisdom, right? So it was, in this analogy we're making, in my own favor, in my own best interest, to convince you of something as a wise man, right? 2,000 years ago. Now we find ourselves in the information age, and every single person can fact check everything, and they still don't. Oh, it's funny. It's very funny. But some do, and the more that do, the more the collective awakening will happen, and the more we collectively awaken, the closer we'll get to nirvana or whatever, right? Utopia. 2032 is when things change. 2044 is when it's apparent, right? Where it's unignorable. We're like, oh, we're living in the future now, aren't we? It's like, yep, we're here. That's right up my alley. I like the Joe. Be prepared for subtitles. It's a Japanese movie. I think it would be considered a classic film. I don't know why, but my mind instantly went to thinking about the movie Parasite. Have some of you friends seen it? I believe that's a South Korean movie, right? Not Japanese, technically. Also, gonna have to watch it with subtitles unless you're Korean speaking. But that was also one of those movies where I was like, yeah, the way other cultures make movies have something to them, right? It's like you get to see something else, to say it in so many words. What we get used to. I don't particularly enjoy modern Hollywood. Like, there's very few movies that I'm like really locked in on, and like, this is some of the best stuff in the universe. I'm still locked in on Hilda. Hilda is still, I think, one of the best things I've seen in the last, in the last 5 years. I think Hilda is like up there, and that's a little freaking kid show, made for children. I don't know if it is made for children. I think it's pretty scary. Like the last season had me unironically heart beating. I was like, this is some hectic shit. Wild Robot is still my favorite. Yeah, Wild Robot's one of those. Again, kids movie, right? I honestly believe that most of my favorite movies of the last 5 years all were animated movies. I don't know if I can name a single like live action movie that I was really like, oh, this impacted me. This is meaningful to me. Wild Robot, me and Joe watched together when she was here in South Africa with me. And her name is Jobot. So obviously the robot theme has been special to us. And she knows how I am as well. I want to become a cyborg. So being robot isn't strange to me either. And then I see that this movie is going to be airing when she's here, literally at the same time. Like, it was very synchronous. And then I take her to that, and then it was Barbie themed as well. Like the wild robot ended up taking care of a little duck, right? And some of your friends will know that Joe is an animal lover, but especially so a bird lover, right? And that movie is about loving the animals, about getting along, about allowing ourselves to suspend our disagreements. Not saying that we don't have disagreements, just allowing ourselves to suspend our disagreements so that we can allow ourselves to have fun. I'm saying that because I wanted to relate to today's stream topic, but so we can get along, so we can be okay, so we can survive this reality that we're in, right? All of the infighting is what's going to kill us, not the environment that we're in, right? Each other. I've heard Parasite was pretty effed up. A good movie, but effed, yeah. It's definitely one of those movies that leaves you kind of shocked. Shocked? Definitely so. Like, you haven't seen it, but I don't know if you're gonna watch it. And it is an old one. But the movie's premise is suffering, especially as it relates to the differences in society, right? Because the upper echelons of people have a lot of fun relative to the suffering that the poor people in our societies have, right? Like, it's very stark the way that that movie communicates to you the differences in worlds, and it makes you understand it. It's like, how can you not understand? And at the same time, right, like, it communicates this dichotomy. Everybody is a parasite in that movie, right? The ultra wealthy are parasitizing their societies, and the society parasitizes the ultra wealthy. Not enough. It sounds fucked up when I say it like that. In the movie, you get like, it's like a microcosm. You get to see one parasitic relationship, just one, and the fact that there are millions, tens of millions of human beings just in that country, right? If you could zoom out like a 200-kilometer radius of where the movie was happening, if it was actually happening in a house. There's probably like 10 to 20 million human beings in that area. So much life, so much consciousness. You celebrating? It is wild how many of us there are. And I think maybe that's also something to kind of liken or link to today's stream topic as well, is the fact that because there's so many of us, if all of us were having a little bit more fun, and again, I'm not advocating for go out and drive supercar, as like means of having fun. I'm talking about do some yoga. Go and sit outside and breathe. Go for a walk in a park, right? Have fun with these kinds of things. Realize that the hedonic treadmill is not something you really want to get started. Allow yourself to enjoy the small things. And if you can, you'll be the wealthiest people on the planet. I believe this. I believe this. Fun is a necessity, absolutely. If you can't have fun, you can't have anything at all. I don't know if that's true, but it sounds cool. Here's yesterday's flower. Zoink. Little duties. The heart eyes melt in my heart. I can't help it. Sharing some purries with you, some black hearts, encapsulating some sharpies. All right. Witness with your eyes, and then hear me as I read you a poem. To be remembered. To be remembered. You may not notice it now, but everything you do is leaving a trail. Not the kind that fades with the wind, but the kind that clings to the people who cross your orbit. The smile you gave a stranger yesterday, still alive, growing quietly in their chest. The word you spoke in kindness, echoing in someone else's private hour of doubt. The way you show up, yes, that will outlast you. We think of memory as storage, as if we're hoarding moments in a jar, but really, remembering is an awakening, a recognition of ourselves reflected back through all we've touched. And maybe right now, you're remembering yourself too. The child who laughed before knowing why, the dreamer who believes in impossible futures, the body that once danced simply because it could. Those pieces of you, they haven't left. They've only been waiting for this exact moment to be called forward again. So let this be your reminder. You are remembered in ways you'll never measure, by the internet, perhaps, but more truthfully, by the people who felt your presence, by the world that bent ever so slightly because you were here. And when the day comes that you forget yourself again, don't worry. Someone out there is carrying the memory of you like a lantern. And in their light, you will return. Cutting sums, intergalactic. Hold some intergalactic in your brain. We have a friend here called Slavdananda, Boyana. And she likes telling me, she kind of like has this life philosophy that if you're feeling bad right now, if you're like being hard on yourself, oh, I'm like this and that, and there's someone at least someone out there in the world right now thinking good things about you, right? Creating this balance, this equilibrium, that no matter how bad the thoughts of yourself are towards yourself, somewhere out there in the world, there is someone that loves you, that admires you, that wants only the best. And then you're like, oh, Mel, there's nobody in my life like that, and I'll be a fucking liar. I'm that person in your life, okay? I want the best for you. I'll remember you. I'll try. I do try. And remember you, friends, when you come into this space. I'll say your names. Tell you that I remember you because it's important. All of us want to be remembered. What self? Yeah, exactly. Remember what self indeed. The imputed self. 100%. The imputed self. I don't know what imputed means. Define imputed. That's taking so long. I'm going to see if I missed some. Yay! Stream dead loop. Melt loss. Yeah. I don't know if any of you friends sticked around to notice or see if I'm going to come back, but I wanted to come back to set you free. Thank you for joining me today. It's always a pleasure to have you here. I'll say goodbye. We're back. Yeah. The Wi-Fi was bobunked, but I'm here to say goodbye to you friends proper. I love you. Thank you for joining me, for sharing the space. I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. It's just me and you, y'all. I love you.